Is it visible properly?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Present here virtually. I am Rutuja here. I welcome you all for today's session, which is titled as Career in Research Exploring Contemporary Avenue. And presenting this session, we have with us our today's expert, Mrs. Mayura Manohar Sabni. Mrs. Mayura Manohar Sabni is currently working as Senior Associate with Legacies Private Limited. She has total experience of 11 years exclusive of industry litigation, experience of 7 years in various civil and criminal cases, and 5 years academic experience as visiting and full-time law faculty. Her PhD level research experience is in socio-legal research in the counter-terrorism financing regime. She has published 10 research papers, 2 book chapters in various international, national, and state level journals, and book on the various facets of terrorism financing, and presented research paper in various international, state, and national level seminars and conferences. She is acting as editor and co-editor for various journals and books at national level. She has conducted empirical research project on various aspects of policing in collaboration with the Center of Police Research, Pune. She has acted as placement in charge for 4 years during her academic career and organized international and national conferences and several skill development training programs and courses in law college. Without wasting much time, you may start now, ma'am.
Thank you, Rutuja, for this brief and lovely introduction. I hope my screen is properly visible and I am audible to all of you.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. So today's discussion is about career in research, and we are going to explore the contemporary avenues which are available today and which may be available in the upcoming years. So first, I would like to discuss herein about what do you mean by research. So before understanding what are the career avenues in research, I would like you to know the basic concept of research, because unless and until you know what do you mean by research, how you can build up your career into research. So the simple definition of research, it means research, to find something which is already existing. That means we are searching something which is already existing. If I would like to give you a simple example of research, I would tell you that in each and every daily activity, we are doing research. For example, if you want to find a Pizza Hut near you, you put up into Google Pizza Hut near me. That is nothing but a research. Whatever is already existing, you try to find it out on your own by using different methods. So when you try to research something, that becomes a research with the help of different tools, technologies, methodologies, and that is nothing but a research methodology. Unfortunately, in India, research methodology is not taught to the undergraduate students except few national law schools or few IITs, but it is a mandatory subject from my perspective, because when I'm working in the field of research and when I deal with my juniors, I understand that they are not understanding even the simple definition of research. So if you are thinking of building a career into research, please first understand what do you mean by research. Then there are certain characteristics of research. Research must always be objective. Objective means we should have a goal while doing a research, because while doing a research, you are actually utilizing your time, you are actually utilizing your different resources, like you are spending money, investing your time and money into the research. And whenever you are entering into a research career, the research career is very dynamic. That's why in which field you want to do the research, that objective must be set before you. In this way, the research for you must be objective in nature. It must be universal in nature. It must not challenge the existing fact. For example, if you are saying as a researcher that sun rises in the west, this is a natural fact, you cannot challenge it. So your research must be universal in nature. Its applicability must be generalized. That means it should be applicable across certain section of population, certain territory, certain cultural setting, certain ethical setting. So these are the few characteristics of research. Basically, today's session is not about research and all these things, but I would like to give you intro in order to simplify the next understanding about the research career. There are two basic types of research, qualitative and quantitative. In the same example of finding Pizza Hut, if you want to know how many options you have, how many, it means that you are searching for number of outlets of Pizza Hut near you. So when you talk about how many, you are doing a quantitative research. But if you are looking for a particular type of pizza only, margarita pizza, then it is a qualitative research because you are looking for a quality of a pizza, a particular quality that it should have only the margarita pizza. That outlet I will prefer. So this is the different. When you are dealing with numbers, it becomes a quantitative research. When you are dealing with a particular quality, then it becomes a qualitative research. I have already given you a very simple example. Now you may be knowing that there are certain international collaborations which deal with very grave topics of research. For example, research with respect to the atom, research with respect to the global climate change policy. It is a very hot topic right now. So all these types of research, they are also having this simplistic format of research. They are both quantitative as well as qualitative. They are universal, they are objective in nature, and they are actually trying to find something which is already existing. Atom, those who belong to the science background, they will understand that atom already has electrons. So this is existing, but how they behave, that behavior, or black hole theory you must be knowing about. So all these kinds of things, they are already existing, but it is being researched by the group of scientists. So this is called as a scientific research. Now another type of research is a social research. Social research means you actually try to study the society. Now society is made up of so many factors. There are different customs, ethics, there are different ethnicities, there are different location wide changes into moralities of the society. Then there are different political settings, there are different cultural trends within a particular geographical area of society. What is the economy of the society, whether it is mixed economy, what is the financial system in which the society believes. Okay, so all these kinds of different aspects of society are studied into social research. Scientific research is very precise, you get same result across the globe, but in a social research you don't get same research across the globe. So you have to decide whether you want to become a scientific researcher or whether you want to become a social researcher. Now how you can decide it, that is the next part which we are going to deal with in a few time. But let's talk about why you have to choose research as a career, what it offers you. First and foremost, it expands your vision, because when you are reading alone a particular book, your vision gets limited to that book. But when you discuss it with other people, when you try to find something more, the same topic can have different visions in front of you, and it leads to the expansion of vision. Then the knowledge which you already have becomes expanded and becomes content based. It means that now I'm delivering you a session. It is not a one day process. Just now I made a PPT and I am delivering it. I have been teaching this subject of research in colleges, and I have taken such kind of a training session. That's why my content is there into the delivery. So when I do a research that what particular topic needs and how I should deliver my session, my knowledge gets increased content wise. So when you choose research as a career, your vision gets expanded, your knowledge becomes more content based. Then you have different skills. Some are very punctual, some are very strict, some are very rigid, some are very relaxed. So there are two different important skills which is not possessed by each and everyone. That is adaptation and teamwork. Why I'm talking about adaptation? Because when you choose research as a career, you try to adapt to the upcoming challenges. You try to adapt to the solutions. Okay. And you try to adapt to the settings in which the research is being done. For example, if you are doing a research for the tribal community, you try to adapt to certain cultural settings of a tribal community to know more about them. That is a participatory research. So this skill of adaptation gets developed when you choose research as a career. Then another thing is that teamwork. What is a teamwork? When you do a collaborative research, you try to respect the findings of others. You try to respect the knowledge of others. And when you do a collaborative research, your teamwork skills get more sharpened. Research always gives you rewards because when you act as a researcher for a particular institution, it pays you in terms of money, it pays you in terms of respect. When I say that I am a researcher in a corporate, I do get a respect. Interest. It helps you to develop your interest. Someone of you may be having the interest in traveling. How the research will help in traveling? When you are traveling, try to do research about the places you visit. And that you obviously do. Because if I want to go from Pune to Mumbai, then first I will do the research that which is the way available for me, whether it is feasible to go by bus, whether it is feasible to go by train. If I decide to go by train, which timing is there for me convenient to travel by train. So these kinds of my interest of travel also gives me insight into the research. So your interest gets simultaneously developed when you choose research as a career. Your area of study, the dedication increases. For example, my area of study has been counter-terrorism financing and the law related to it. So when I started studying about it, initially the dedication was at very low level. But when I started gaining interest, when I started doing more research, my dedication towards my area of study increased. So when you choose the research as a career, whatever your area of study, area of interest is there, your dedication gets more developed and more in depth. Then when you are doing a research, you have to be very punctual in a time bound manner. So your ability to handle stress and work pressure gets developed. It gets sharpened. The reason being that whenever a research is being done, many resources are being invested. One of them is time. And if you don't finish off your research within a particular time, it becomes outdated. So for example, if I am doing a research on triple talaq right now, but there is already a law on triple talaq, so my research will be outdated. But if as an institution representative, you are giving a certain topic for research, then the ability to handle a particular stress created out of that timeline and to handle the work pressure gets sharpened. So these are your particular skills as a human being becomes more developed. You grow as a human being in these behavioral aspects when you choose research as a career. Any doubts till now? Okay, we'll continue then. Now, when you want to choose research as a career, you need to have certain good qualities. I know human being is made of good qualities as well as bad qualities, but we need to improve certain of our good qualities which are already existing in us. First, you need to have a strong quality of attentive, being attentive, and that to be in detail. That means if you are reading two lines, you should have the capability to read between the lines. You should have the capability to analyze each and every word into a single sentence. you must have the capability to interpret it and to think over it and to generate your own thought process. So when you want to become a good researcher and develop a career into it, you need to have a strong attention to detail. Second good quality which you need to have to become a good researcher is resourcefulness. There are multiple qualities, but I have chosen only four. The reason being that these are the broad qualities which you need to have to become a good researcher. So if you are resourceful, it means that you're not introvert. You like to talk to people. You like to visit the places. Or even if you are introvert, you like to have certain kind of hobbies like reading where you can gain the knowledge. So you like to have access to the resources. When you have such kind of resourcefulness, then only you can become a good researcher. If you want to conduct the interview for the purpose of your research and you are not talkative, you don't know how to approach people, you don't know how to find the people for the interview, then how you can become a good researcher? Your research will fail. That's why resourcefulness is one of the qualities to become a good researcher. Then you must have the capability to solve the complex problems, because research is always a journey from complexity to simplicity. Complexity means there are multiple things which will be presented before you. You have to choose one thing, you have to focus on that one thing, and then you have to reach to the conclusion. There will be different complex problems which will be presented to you. The challenges will be complex, but you need to find simple solutions as a researcher. So your capability to answer these questions, if you can see my slide, where, who, why, what, how, and if you are able to answer these questions through your research, then only you can become a good researcher. The objective of becoming a researcher must always be to give a solution. If you are failure in giving the solution, then you cannot be successful in becoming a good researcher. Then finally, for what you do the research. I do a research and I keep that research in my cupboard. I do not disclose it to the public that I have done this research. What is the use of that research? The society will not benefit. I will not be paid. I will not get money. Neither I will get any kind of a reward in terms of respect into the research society. So you must have that fierce ambition, tenacity to validate your work. It means that whenever you are doing a research, even for writing a simple research article, you need to have that kind of fierce ambition to reach to the publisher, so that your research will be accepted by the research society, by the community. It will be published to the community. People will know that in which sphere you are doing a research. And if it is good, then it will be validated. Research must always be validated in order to be a successful researcher. Because your research, if it is not useful to the society, if it is not useful for any kind of a scientific development, you are just describing something, then you are not doing a research. That's why your tenacity to validate your work makes you a good researcher. Now let's come to the crux of the topic. In the light of this all background discussion, these are the options as a career in research. So first, you can become a market research analyst. Now, who are these market research analysts and what work they do? These market research analysts are those researchers which actually study the market trends. For example, if a particular company wants to launch its product, that product, how it will become a successful and how it will gain profits for the company, that basic research is done by these market research analysts. And the post launch of that product, that is also studied, because if you want to have the improvement into the product. Now you may be knowing that there are different versions of smartphones: S22, S23, iPhone 13, iPhone 14. On which basis they get the new features into the phone? This market research. They do the market research. These type of researchers, when they are associated with such type of industry, they do the market research and they analyze the trends, that what people want. Now you may be knowing that I want to point out herein the biggest change into the smartphone, that was the selfie camera. When it was realized by the smartphone industry that people are willing to use the phone for taking selfie and use as a camera as well, apart from using as a telecommunication device, they started giving more megapixel camera into each and every phone. And now the cameras has been outdated. They are totally replaced by the smartphones. Why this happened? Because there was a market research. Analysis was done by such type of people that people want this, and then they provided this. So you can belong to such type of industry and you can become a market research analyst. Forensic scientists study the different happenings around you in a scientific way. For example, you must have seen in various series that there are certain experts who go to the place of crime, collect some evidence, analyze it, and then try to find a criminal. So this is the nature of forensic scientist. So they actually belong to the science background and they study the forensics around us and they give out the results out of it, which can be universally applicable in a particular situation. Then business analyst. Business analysts usually work nowadays into the IT field. If you see the data which is being generated, how the business is going on, that is actually analyzed by these business analysts. Now, please try to differentiate between market research analyst and business analyst. Business analyst actually try to analyze the activities of the business. Okay. And these activities are not limited only to the market sales. These activities are starting from the incorporation of company till gaining the profits or removing a particular employee. So business analysts actually study the whole journey of the business and try to make it more growth oriented as well as developed one. Historians, they study the history. You can add archaeologists as well. So historians, they actually do the research into history because history is the past. It has already happened. You cannot change it. It is already existing. So when historians are termed as researchers, they are actually searching in the past for something. For example, nowadays there has been a trend whether this kind of thing exists into the Indian mythology. Or for example, yesterday only the Supreme Court has given a judgment that Ganwapi mosque has this shivling and all, Ayodhya judgment, whatever you take. What is this? Historians has searched for it and they have come to certain conclusions. So research was done. So you can become a historian and earn good money as a researcher. Research psychologist. Research psychologists are those persons which study the psychology of a particular community. They are not a psychologist like a common psychologist. They are not doctors. They are not earning psychological degree. But they try to analyze a particular trend of human behavior, human society. They do research about it. It is a group kind of research. Okay. Journalistic research. Journalism is whole of research because being a journalist, if you get a tip, then you try to find out what is happening. And once you try to find out what is happening, that means you are doing a research. You are following a research path. So journalistic researcher is a very lucrative field. Okay. The reason being that it is continuously happening. Sorry. If you see all these kinds of options which are available before you as a researcher to explore as a career avenue, they are all required on a continuous basis. Just there will be some ups and downs belonging to a particular industry, and that will have impact upon your career as a researcher. Then These are the sectors for the research where you can join as a researcher in all of these capabilities. So, educational institution, they always need a researcher. Whenever you are doing a PhD, you are doing research. Now there is a concept of a postdoc, that is postdoctoral. When you do such kind of a research in the educational institution, they try to help you out with the funding. There is a stipend, okay? And in educational institution, there are certain projects which are done along with the industry people. So when such type of projects, joint collaborative projects are done, you get a grant from the government, from the private institutions, from the industry, and then you can become a good researcher into the educational institution as well. Educational institutions have their own research development department. So there, in the capacity of professor, assistant professor, when you complete your net set or PhD, you can join as a researcher as well and guide the students in the field of research. So these are the multiple avenues which are available before you when you talk about joining as a researcher to the educational institution. Then government institution. Nowadays, you may be seeing that the government is coming with so many policies. How they develop these policies? They actually get these policies developed through a very long research which is done by the back-end researchers. And you can get associated as a research assistant in multiple departments of the government. For example, law ministry is there, law commission is there. Each and every ministry has the team of researcher because they want to know how the governance is being utilized by the people, how we can improve, what new can be brought, if a scheme is already implemented, how it has survived, what are the loopholes. So you can join as a researcher or a research assistant into a government institution. Then industrial laboratories, very important because industries always need to have innovations. Innovation is different from a research. But for having an innovation, you must study what is already existing. So research becomes a base of innovation. So there are so many industrial laboratories. For example, nowadays you can take the example of COVID. It is very much used, but still I would like to give it herein. When we wanted to have vaccine, how will we know that there is no vaccine? Research was being done. And how we know that this type of vaccine can help out to eradicate COVID? Research was being done. And where it was being done? In the industrial laboratories. So you can become with a science, if you are a science student, science background, science degree, and PhD in science, any of the science subject, then you can join any kind of an industrial laboratory and it is a very lucrative career. Corporate institutions like and private companies, like there are certain corporate institutions of government as well. MCA, Ministry of Corporate Affairs, has its own corporate institution which works only for the research of companies and what laws to be developed. So you can join as a researcher in such type of corporate institution. Now I am working as a researcher into a private company. I help them to find different topics, to different areas where we can give training to people. And it is a kind of an industry. Research is also industry. There are various collaborative research which are done at international level, both in social and scientific research. Now you may be reading in a newspaper that there are research projects which are being done by one particular company along with another particular company. And these are the done at international level. How it is possible? Through digital interface. One person is doing research in India, another person is doing research in US. They share their data in a digital sphere. They talk like we are talking right now. They try to validate their research outputs in all these ways. So industries across the globe are collaborating nowadays to know more about new markets, and they are bringing up new research avenues for the people like us. Insurance companies, it is one of the very lucrative research sectors because you may be knowing that when COVID hit, force majeure clause was utilized by like anything. Force majeure means if anything is happening which is out of your control, the insurance has to be given. COVID insurance, this concept came up. It was not there earlier because people died of COVID. And in insurance, there was no condition to pay the insurance money if people are dying out of COVID. So, in such circumstances, there was a need to do the research about providing this COVID insurance. This is how insurance companies constantly want the researcher, a team of researcher, to actually run their business in a more sustainable way. Why I am saying sustainable way? The reason is being, in sustainable way, you always try to find out how you can go for a very long period of time. Then these are the global universities where you can go to pursue the researcher career. Okay, because if you see these universities, these are very well known. For example, Harvard, Yale, Pennsylvania, University of Oxford, University of Toronto, John Hopkins University. It is one of the renowned and most recognized university for a scientific research. Then University of Massachusetts, MIT. It is a very well-known technical research institute. Okay, they have developed certain kind of principles through research which are being used by the globe for different purposes, like for developing social policies by the government, for developing certain scientific principles. So if you see, when you join as a researcher in these global universities, your research automatically gets validated. That day I was watching the movie series Rocket Boys. Okay, I will suggest you to watch the series if you want to become a good researcher. The reason is it has shown how to be persistent about your research. Everyone was denouncing their research. No, we don't want this research and it is not feasible about atomic energy. And today, if you see, atomic energy is like the Pandora's box. Still, we are unable to decipher it, but it is giving us the benefits. Why? They actually set up their institute, Bhabha Atomic Research Institute, and then through that institute, their research got validated. So if you see, if you join as a researcher to any of these universities, you can always put up your research ideas before them. They will fund it. They will actually make a policy to give a grant to your research, which you can utilize for your personal things as well as for the professional things. And your research will become a well-known research. Then how you get paid as a researcher? Important consideration for which everyone is looking at. First, location matters. Just now I told you that if you join in any of these global universities, obviously the pay will be in dollars and it will be on a very higher side. But if you join as a researcher into the Indian universities, the pay will be lower, but it will be in a different currency altogether. So according to location, the salary of a researcher differs. Second type of job position, that is designation. Whether you are acting as a senior researcher, junior researcher, or just an intern into that particular research team, that defines your salary. For example, for seniors who are having vast experience of this field of research, because experience enriches research. Okay, so when you are having very vast experience as a researcher, then you are automatically paid more than your junior researcher. It is not so that the value of the research which is done by junior researcher is very low. But as I told you, experience is an additional factor which actually have impact upon the salary in the field of research as well. Then type of industry. If you go to pharmaceutical industry, they will pay you more. If you go to the government institution, they will pay you more. But if you join a private educational institution, the pay scale will always be low because the type of funding which they get from the government or from their own resources of management, it differs. That's why Based upon the type of industry, the salary parameters also differs in the field of research. Required experience, if you are just pass out or you have just completed your PhD without having any industry experience, then you will be considered as a fresher for the research field, and then you will be paid less. Obviously, now I have the experience of 11 years, and that to be both of industry and academics. So I will be paid more than a passed out student. So required experience also plays an important role in getting a good salary as a researcher. Required skill set. If you are not able to finish your research work within a given timeline, you are fired. You are not able to optimize your resources which are given to you. You are fired. Okay. So if you have good ability to analyze, time punctuality, discipline, ethical, then only you will survive and you will get good salary as a researcher. Level of education always matters. Now, I did not discuss this topic earlier as a qualification to be a researcher, because here I wanted to discuss it. Suppose you have done BCom, BA, that is graduation. You need to have a master's degree of any type to become a researcher. Based upon your graduation degree, no one will accept you as a researcher. The reason is that in masters only you learn how to do the research. All the masters are focused on developing your research skills. You do not learn in graduation, and you try to learn the details of a particular specialization or a particular subject only in masters. So the minimum qualification to become a researcher is a master's. And if you want to go also enough, your salary will increase. Obviously, the person who is having only the masters will be paid less, and the person who is having PhD in a particular topic, particular area, particular subject will be paid more, even if they are not having any type of experience. Both of them are experienceless, but their education level differs. So all these factors have cumulative effect on the salary which you get as a researcher. Now, if you ask me in a quantitative terms, as a researcher, you get a salary starting from 30-40,000 as a research assistant as a basic level till 2 lakh, 3 lakh at a higher level as well. If you see the salary of a research assistant in the Competition Commission of India or various commissions of the Indian government, though they are on contractual basis for a very short period of time, you get paid minimum 50,000 per month to be a researcher. And that to be at lower level I'm talking about. It is an entry level position into the government as a research assistant. You can visit the websites of all these government institutions and you can apply through that website. And these positions are on rolling basis. Rolling basis means they keep on coming up. It is not fixed that June mein hi aayenge, July mein hi aayenge. So they keep on coming up and you can apply across the year whenever you are willing to join a government institution as a researcher. Now, we have talked goody things. Are there bad things? Yes, there are. These are the 3 disadvantages when you talk about research as a career. Relocation, very important thing. Now, I will share my personal experience herein because I wanted to settle down in Pune. That's why I chose a job of a researcher in Pune. But if I'm willing to travel across India, Delhi, Bengaluru, they have a vast opportunities for a researcher. Why Delhi? Because most government institutions are situated therein. Why Bengaluru? Because IT research hub is being developed therein. Each and every IT industry has a R&D department. R&D department means research and development department. So if I'm willing to relocate, I will be paid more and my life will be more settled down in terms of a researcher. But it is not the consideration for each and everyone. That's why when you're talking in terms of being a researcher or exploring the research career, relocation plays a very important role. Another important thing is about the security of job, which is also associated with relocation. If you see, most of the positions of the researcher are contractual basis, because it is for a particular period, that is 2 years, 3 years, or it is for a particular project. So when you are getting appointed as a researcher for a particular project, once that project gets end, your job gets over. So you have to look after to new opportunities. So there is a less security of job in being a researcher unless and until you get associated with any kind of a government institution or in any kind of an industry which has a fixed R&D department, which are in a continuous research over a particular project. For example, there is a project which is going on at international level in scientific field, that is CERN. CERN means they are actually trying to analyze the Big Bang theory. It's a very complicated subject. Let's not go into it. But how the universe evolved, they're trying to find it out. It is a lifetime research. So there is a security of job to those scientists who are doing a research therein. If you join a law ministry, laws are being made, the laws are being repealed. So it is kind of a secure job as a researcher. If you become an assistant professor and try to develop your research team, yes, it is a secure job. But if you try to have your own research consultancy, there is no security of job, neither security of income. Secondly, if you try to work on different projects, then there is no security as such. You will enjoy as a researcher exploring different field, different areas, but you cannot expect the security of job as well as of income. And third important disadvantage of being a researcher and getting affiliated to any university, any institution, any industry for that matter, is sacrificing your independence. Because when you become independent researcher, then there is no income security. But when we are looking at the research as a career to earn money, then you have to give up your independence. Why? Because you have to listen to the person who are paying you, and you have to do certain kind of things according to them. If a particular institution or industry is giving you a grant, as a researcher, there are certain terms and conditions which you need to fulfill. They may ask you that the research inputs, though they are found by you, will belong to them. So this is kind of independent sacrifice has to be done if you want to become a researcher and you want to explore it as a career for earning money. Okay. So these are the three disadvantages, nothing more than that. It is always a lucrative career if you give your 100% to it. So to conclude, I would like to conclude on two terms, two levels I can say. First, in order to be successful as a good researcher, you need to have belief in yourself that whatever I am doing, that is right. Because when I started with my PhD, so many people challenged me because it was a very new topic. It was not studied in India earlier. Terrorism financing, how the terrorists get money. There was no law. So people were asking me, why you are studying it? Are you going to interview terrorists? So this was the mockery which I faced. But I had a belief in myself. Yes, I can do it. And I did it. I submitted my PhD. Then practice. I did my PhD for 6 years, but for each and every moment I was thinking about it. Whenever I found something new, I tried to write it down somewhere, and then at the end I collated it. So you have to be into that trance always to become a good researcher and explore it as a career. You need to practice that again and again. Okay. You must have an ambition to become a researcher. Researcher is not a thing like IT engineer ban gaya, chalo coding kar raha hai, roz wahi karta rehta hai. But to become a researcher, you need to have a lot of patience. You need to have a lot of ambitions that yes, my research will become a successful. That is your ambition. Then you must have the quality to do the teamwork. Teamwork, why? Because Individually, you cannot study each and every problem of society, not each and every scientific problem. If you are joining a team of researcher, you must be able to take it very sportingly, even if you are being mocked, even if you are being ragged. So all these kinds of things, when you are joining specifically at the lower level into any institution for that matter, the teamwork spirit must be there in you to become a good, successful researcher. And you must be keep on working. That's why I have chosen this. Then only you can jump the ladder, you can actually cross the obstacles and become successful. All these things are interconnected. They keep on going on in your life. And if you choose the research as a career, then in order to be successful, you need to follow these 5 principles in totality. You cannot say that I'm good at teamwork, but I don't believe in myself. You must believe in yourself. You must have that ambition. Simultaneously, you must work towards actually making that your team convinced that this is what it is, and then help to contribute into that teamwork. So this is the first thing which you need to work out on a personal level when you want to explore the research as a very good career. And at a public level, at general universal level, what you have to do, you have to get connected with the industry leaders. Industry leaders here, not I am concentrating only on industry as in the common sense it is understood. You get connected to different people at different level, either in an educational field, in an industry field, in an IT field, in the pharma field. So wherever you go, if you meet people, make connections with them. They can help you out to reach out to your ambition of becoming a good researcher and explore the research as a career. Then improve your resume. How you can improve your resume? By doing different certifications into the research, by writing more research papers, getting it published, by avoiding plagiarism, by learning what are the research ethics. So you can improve your resume in the field of research by more publications. Okay, publications play a very important role in the life of a researcher. If you write something good, then only it is being published. If it is being published, it means that the society has validated it. That's why while improving your resume as a researcher, please focus on publications. And for publication, please concentrate on valid publication. Don't go for paid publications. They don't give value to your research. Then explore the industry ethics. What is going on in industry? What they want? If you want to become a business analyst, if the businesses want you to manipulate something, don't go for it, because it is a very short-lived, lucrative option. But when you leave that industry, your name is already defamed outside the industry. So don't utilize such kind of options which are unethical as a researcher. So please explore industry ethics and stick to them. Then have the ability and develop the skills to present your findings. I have met so many people in my life who were actually very much talented. They knew each and everything across the globe about their topic, but they were not able to talk. They were not able to present. So please develop those skills of presentation. If the research is getting stuck into the cupboard, it has zero value and you will not get paid also. If you go for an interview as a researcher and they are asking you your area of interest into the research and you are not able to speak out, why they will hire you? So please try to develop your skill as a presenter, which is very important skill to become a good researcher and to earn good money. And after doing all these things, earn money through your research. Now guys, I tell you, there are like crores of amount of money is being spent by the industry giants like Tesla, Amazon to do the research. Try to explore such kind of opportunities. If you are having that idea, if you are having that imagination, try to reach out to such people. And now everything is available at our fingertips through smartphone. I have developed this habit. I have actually downloaded all newspaper apps on my phone, so I get updated about it. I did not go anywhere, and I don't know. I do not have to complain that I don't have access to newspapers to get updated. Second habit which I have developed as a researcher is to keep on reading. Now I have submitted my PhD way back, but I still read about terrorism, financing terrorism. I keep on following the international news about it, and I love to write about it. Still now I am publishing the papers. So be into that field again and again, so that your capability to earn the money through that research will be as it is. It will not degrade, because research is such kind of thing that when you have those ideas into your mind, let not them die, keep them alive. And if you keep them alive, then only whenever a good opportunity comes, you can earn money through it. Another important aspect herein for earning the money is that when you have certain idea, approach to industry people with those ideas. Government is also now accepting the ideas of common man and giving them credit through the money for giving the ideas to the government. If you have such type of project, law protects it, and law ensures that whatever research you have done, you can earn money through it. So these are the ways, these are the avenues in the field of research you can always explore, and you can always earn a good money being a researcher. So this is all from my side. Any questions? I'm open for the questions.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much for this very informative and demonstrative session. We will ask our participant to put your question in comment box. We will try to provide answer by Miss Mayura Sabne, ma'am.
Yes, I would like to thank the organizations, Research Circle and Business Rozgar for giving me this opportunity. And I would like to give more sessions on different topics so that there will be awareness about research and all the things which are associated with the research. Thank you once again. And thank you, the audience, for listening to me very patiently in this very boring topic of research. Thank you once again.
Thank you, ma'am. I think no one has any question. Thank you so much, all the participants, for your active participation. Let me inform to all that this complete session will be available on our Business Rozgar YouTube channel. So if you want to watch it again or want to share it to somebody, please do visit the Business Rozgar YouTube channel. Thanks. And last but not the least, Ms. Mayura Sabne, ma'am, for taking out the time for session. With your permission, I would like to end today's session here.
Yes.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, thank you.